What's going on, team? It's your boy G, and we back at it again with another episode of the GFILES, man. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Dune, and I'm super excited for this because, man, this joint was lit. So without further ado, let's jump into the vid. But before we do, I need you guys to be one huge favor, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and any bit of support is greatly appreciated. You can watch anything on YouTube right now besides check this video out. So I appreciate y'all. Without further ado, let's jump into the vid. Alright, y'all know me. I love to start these reviews with actual love, man. And there's not a lot of things that I don't like about this movie, so it's going to be a lot of that. But first things first, man, the world. To me, that's one of the most important things when it comes to like a movie, and a movie that's actually setting up like a franchise, right? So I won't say that nothing in this movie matters because, you know, this is just the first part. Like, I don't know what's coming in the future, but just this one alone, just this movie alone, bro, is so good. It's so beautiful. And just the world they was able to create, you can tell that there's like a bigger play in the works. So I'm super excited just, you know, to continue to understand and learn more things about it. Now, if you didn't know, Dune is also a book. It's also had, you know, previous movies back in the day. I think like 1984 or something like that. So way back, you know. And to see this come up now, it's like, to me, closest thing like I can get to comparing this to anybody that, you know, hasn't seen it or wondering if you want to see it, it's like very much Star Wars vibes. Not in the sense of everything that happens in Star Wars, but just like the kind of story, like the journey that you're going on. So if you're a fan of Star Wars, I think you'll probably like this movie because this movie has technology, it has story, it has, you know, cool powers. Like, this is everything I love in a movie wrapped up into one. Alright, so next up, let's talk lore, bro. I like the fact that they started with like the lore first. Like, they set up everything, they set up the scene for us because we needed to understand like the world we was walking into, right? So basically, there's this spice enriched planet that has been used for mining for years and years and years, right? Millennia, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there was this one group that controlled it for, you know, generations on generations, but there was also people that were native to this planet that, you know, didn't get to participate in the riches, you know, and they were oppressed, and they've been fighting back against, you know, the overall system of these different houses for generations. And we start with, you know, Zendaya breaking us down, all of that stuff, so we can understand, like, you know, what we're walking into, like the culture and things like that. And then we also get introduced to the main character, Paul, who is the main protagonist in this story, who is basically like, you know, the chosen one or the child of prophecy, whatever you want to call it. Some of the locals think that he is what they call the Messiah, and there's different pieces of lore that gets established early and, you know, throughout the film that really has me excited to see, you know, what is really going to be planned for the future. Because not only is there a child of prophecy, but there's different factions or different houses. There's this overall empire that we really have no clue about because we've only been to, like, you know, 2 places in this movie. But there's so much that happens within this film. I think it's like 2.5 hours, so it's a pretty decently long film, but it doesn't feel like that, you know. Like, it feels like, you know, a very well-paced movie. I love like the action scenes as well. I know I haven't talked that much about the action, but that's because it's like, to me, the best way I can describe it is that it's like a slow drip feed of action. Like, you get little spurts here and there that will keep you definitely invested, but also like on the edge of your seat because you don't know necessarily what's going to happen. Now, one knock that I do have about this movie is that it was a lot of running away. You know what I'm saying? And maybe in the grand scheme of things that, you know, it might get looked at a little bit different, but because this is a coming of age story, you know, the fight isn't always direct. You know, there had to be sacrifices made. Now, as seen in the trailer, they have their own, like, you know, style of fighting, but it's close combat for the most part. Yes, there's, you know, spaceships and different weapons and things like that throughout it, but I think the most impressive action scenes are the close combat ones. Jason Momoa's character of Duncan has probably like one of the best sequences out of everybody, and even Timothy's character of Paul, you know, has his moments as well in this movie. But, you know, it's not necessarily a lot of action, it's a lot of story, but it's like slow drip feeds of action that, you know, keep you hype, keep you anticipating, you know, what's coming next, because it's not necessarily just all fights, right? There's different action scenes. There's, you know, worms that are used as plot devices throughout the film to keep the story moving forward. And this world, bro, I'm trying to tell you, it's so much. I'm not even gonna be able to fit it all in this video, because honestly, y'all need to go see it for real, because just the way that they use not only just like the desert as like a metaphor, but scenery and like the landscapes of what, you know, they are showing, whether it's in a B-roll shot or, you know, just in the background of what we're actually seeing, because like there's so much beauty within just, you know, the idea of what a desert can look like and like the sunset and stuff, but you know, there's horrors underneath with the giant worms that, you know, continuously go throughout the whole planet. But then you also had different scenes of like, you know, just amazing like freaking cinematics, bro. But it was just like despair in what's actually happening, what they use, because the bad guy for this joint is ruthless, bro, and is really weird in the sense of like, you know, how they treat people, like honestly. And it's just like, I don't understand like the kind of power that he really wields, but you know, it's definitely something different, because youngins are, I won't say just doing anything, but yeah, they were getting bodied for sure. And now one of the last things that I probably should have brought up like earlier, you know what I'm saying, but is some of the powers. So, well, really there's only like one power that we really understand at this point, and that is the voice. If you're familiar with Star Wars, it's basically the Force, right? It's the ability for somebody to use their voice and tap into like whatever power that really hasn't been explained yet, to force people to bend to your will in a sense. So it's something that has been passed down to like all these, it's something that has been passed down and pretty secret, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the ones that actually know about it and understand it. Like it's a whole sisterhood of I guess witches. I don't know, I'm not really super sure yet, but you know, night sisters meet the Force in a sense, if you know what I mean. And I know I've made a lot of Star Wars references because that's just like the easiest way for me to, you know, bridge the gap as far as like what I think it is. But the voice, and you know, Paul being the prodigal son and the Messiah in a sense of, you know, them bringing both worlds. So having, you know, a prince, and then also having somebody that's able to use the voice, and they're trying to cultivate like the most powerful person that they can to eventually like bring balance to everything in their world. So I think it's super cool, bro. I haven't really got into like the sand people and what they do. I forgot the actual name for them. I feel bad for not knowing, but there's a whole society that, you know, Paul ends up joining, and it's just, bro, the way that they move and the way that they have been described to be one with the desert is super cool, you know what I'm saying. And that includes the technology that was able to make, from how their suits use their sweat to be refiltered into water so they don't get dehydrated, and just the understanding of nature and respect of nature, and how important, you know, it is to just have water, like in the simplest things, you know. And that was one thing I was talking about earlier with just the technology and stuff. Like everything has a utility, from the tents that they use to the suits that they wear. It's really dope, bro. So if y'all haven't seen this joint, I definitely recommend it. This movie is definitely probably my favorite movie this year, and I know I say that a lot, but 100%, this is the first 95 that I'm giving out for a movie, bro, on the GFILES score. So I definitely suggest y'all to watch it. When they say you need to watch this on the biggest screen possible, yeah, they was probably right, you know what I'm saying. They was probably right. But hey man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, the movie. And I'm gonna holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all be easy, y'all know the vibes. Always keep growing, going, speed boy G, and go. Peace.